So can you tell us a little bit about what the requirements are for compulsory school attendance in Washington State? What the admission laws are about?
Okay, in Washington State, parents are required to have their children attend public school between the ages of 8 and 18 years old, unless they qualify for one of the exceptions to it. And one of those exceptions is to provide your child with home-based instruction.
So you talk about home-based instruction. What constitutes home-based instruction?
Home-based instruction is instruction that takes place in the home, of course, and in the law they include 11 required subjects that are occupational education, science, mathematics, language, social studies, history, health, reading, writing, spelling, and the development and appreciation of art and music. And they do indicate that the instruction should approximate the amount of hours that is approved by Washington State for instruction in private schools. There's also a provision in the law, though, that they understand that homeschooling, home education, is a different type of education, and much of it is experiential. And so they would interpret the laws broadly to take that into account. And also that under home-based instruction, the parent has the ultimate responsibility to decide on all curricula, methods, philosophies of education or instruction in educating their children, and no one else is responsible for that.
Can you tell me a little bit about the qualifications for a parent, what they need to meet in order to provide home-based instruction for their child?
A parent has several different options to be qualified to provide home-based instruction for their child. One is that they could have completed 45 college-level credit hours, or the equivalent in semester hours. Another option is that they can complete a course in home-based instruction that is at a post-secondary institution or a vocational technical institute. Another option is that they can homeschool under the supervision of a certificated teacher who meets with the child at least an hour a week. And the final option is to be declared, deemed sufficiently qualified by the superintendent of the school district in which you reside.
So if a parent wants to take that course for home-based instruction in order to qualify to give their child home-based instruction, what are the requirements of that course? What do they have to meet in order to fulfill that requirement?
There are no requirements for the course other than that it be at a post-secondary institution or a vocational technical institution. So any course that met that requirement would qualify.
So for parents who want to qualify to homeschool by using that qualifying course, are there any requirements that course must meet in order to comply?
The law states that it needs to be a course in home-based instruction at a post-secondary institution or a vocational technical institute. The law doesn't have any other requirements for the course.
So if a parent chooses to qualify by asking the superintendent to deem them qualified, is the superintendent required to review that parent's request to be assessed?
The statute doesn't dictate that a superintendent needs to honor such a request. So while this is one of the options for a parent to request a superintendent to declare the parent as qualified, the superintendent has no obligation to honor such a request. It's entirely at their discretion.
So when a parent needs a copy of the Declaration of Intent, where do they find that? Where do they request that Declaration of Intent from?
They should request that from their local superintendent's office. We also have sample copies available on the WHO website that a parent can go to if they would like to take a look at it. And those forms should also be returned to the local superintendent's office.
So what are the duties of a parent who wants to give home-based instruction to their child?
According to the law, a parent has 3 basic duties. The first is to file annually a signed declaration of intent with their local superintendent's office. This needs to be done by September 15th or within 2 weeks of the beginning of a semester, beginning when a child is 8 years old. The second is that they need to keep test scores or the academic progress assessments and immunization records, along with any other educational or progress records that they have as part of their homeschool, so that they have those records. And the third is to annually have their child take either a standardized achievement test approved by the State Board of Education or have an annual assessment of the student's academic process that is given by a certificated person currently working in the field of education. All other decisions regarding their student's education is the responsibility of the parent.